Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good luck sleeping. You're watching PNT. I'm your host, Medium Rare. We at PNT would like to take a moment to thank our faithful viewers and announce that we're now on Patreon. If you like what we do and would like to help to make the show better, please consider donating at the link in the description below. Thank you. Up front this week, according to sources online, a Mexican lawyer has decided to express his anger at the Trump administration's immigration policies in a most apt fashion. Lawyer Antonio Battaglia is apparently planning to launch a Trump-brand toilet paper later this year. Photos of the preliminary packaging show a caricature of the controversial Politico giving a thumbs up in approval to the nearby slogan, "Softness without borders." Like many, Battaglia was insulted by Trump's comments about Mexicans during his election run. It annoyed me, and I started to look for a way to do something that would have an impact, Battaglia said, not in a mocking tone or as revenge, but in a positive way. Battaglia then had the idea of producing a branded toilet paper and found that the mogul had inexplicably failed to register a Trump trademark for hygienic paper. Seizing the opportunity, Battaglia filed and won the trademark rights. The lawyer plans to begin sales in September and has invested the equivalent of $21,000 of his own money into the project. Battaglia states that he will be donating 30% of the profits to help the victims of the Trump administration's draconian immigration policies. PNT lauds this case of ironic capitalism and suggests that Trump-brand toilet paper would make a natural pairing with the golden Take a Trump art installations that we reported on previously. From political paperwork to browsing bears, our next story takes us to Colorado, where a local man slept soundly as a bear broke into his home and ransacked his kitchen. Chris O'Dubrick of Colorado Springs was unaware of the bear that had spent some 6 hours inside of his home. Surveillance cameras captured footage of the bear investigating the kitchen, opening cupboards, and finally raiding the refrigerator in search of something tasty. O'Dubrick told local paper The Gazette that he finally heard the animal moving about when he went downstairs. Colorado Parks and Wildlife officials state that the bear is believed to be the same one that was reported to have eaten ice cream and M&Ms from a home in June and trapped a woman inside of her car while it investigated her garage a few days later. Officials state that the bear was so fat it couldn't climb a tree. The bear had apparently gained access to O'Dubrick's home through a first-floor window recently damaged in a storm. From burgling bears to tattoos from the tomb, our final story in our weekly roundup of the weird takes us to Cleveland, Ohio, where a father and son mortuary has begun offering an unusual service. According to sources online, Mike and Kyle Sherwood of Save My Ink Forever will now save the tattoos of the departed and frame them for family members. I have quite a few tattoos. My father and I thought that they have such meaning to me that if something would happen to my family, would want to save them, stated Kyle Sherwood, a third-generation embalmer. Considering that devotees of tattoo art can spend hundreds and even thousands of dollars on their portable works of art, it seems wasteful to many to consign to oblivion something that can be preserved. Launched in 2016, Save My Ink Forever will preserve your loved one's tattoos provided the procedure is begun within 48 hours of death. Pricing depends on the size of the tattoo, but is generally under $1,000. While admitting that the service isn't for everyone, the Sherwoods have been surprised at the response so far and state that preserving art that the owners or family took pride in, such as military service tattoos, help to give families a sense of closure. Viewers wanting to know more or to have their tattoos preserved will find links in the description below. And now, PNT is pleased to bring you our monthly UFO review. Each month, PNT scours online databases and mountains of sheer crap to bring you, our faithful viewers, only the best in real UFO sightings and reports. While PNT cannot ultimately guarantee the authenticity of these reports, unlike other channels on YouTube, we refuse to insult the intelligence of our viewers with computer-generated bullshit simply meant to drive view counts and put ad dollars in the creators' pockets. At PNT, integrity still counts for something, and these are real reports and videos taken by people like you from across the globe. Our first case comes to us from Billings, Montana. According to the details of the report filed to the MUFON database, on June 2, 2017, the witness was playing basketball at approximately 1:30 p.m. when a reflection in the sky caught their attention. The witness caught the object on their cell phone, watching as the rotating object moved overhead before vanishing rapidly out of view. The witness states that, "At first I thought it might be a group of bright metallic balloons filled with helium, but the object was rotating in a regular manner with asymmetrical protrusions appearing in a cyclic manner. This made it unlikely that the object was a drone." PNT can agree with the witness that the object in the video is unlike any drone that we are familiar with, and that it is unlikely to be an airplane or helicopter. It is most certainly not a natural object such as an animal or bird. What precisely it is, PNT cannot say. What we can say is that we find this piece of footage to be dubious, and here's why. 1. While there are foreground framing elements for reference, the corner of the house and the trees behind, throughout the video the trees and the clouds in the sky remain static. Barring a completely still day with no ground breeze to stir the trees, the clouds in the atmosphere above still should show some movement over the course of the video. Let's turn to the object itself. As the witness states, it rotates and is clearly artificial in nature. The speed and path of its movement also seems suspect, being almost Hollywood-like in nature as it zips up off into the sky and out of sight. While we cannot rule out the possibility of a drone, taking all these facts together leads PNT to suspect that this video has been digitally manipulated. Still, we cannot conclusively prove this, so we'll leave it to you to decide. Sadly, the witness reports few other details, so we may never know for certain. Our second case takes us to the deserts of Arizona, to Santan Valley. According to the details of the report filed to the MUFON database, on June 6, 2016, the witness was driving southbound when at approximately 10 p.m. she witnessed what she thought was an electrical fire on top of a nearby power pole. Thinking that perhaps an owl had perhaps become entangled in the wires and caught fire, the witness turned her vehicle around, only to see the fiery orange orb float across the road in front of her. Pulling out her cell phone, the witness called the local police non-emergency line, but received only a recorded response. With the fireball moving away steadily, she moved after it with her car, chasing it down the road. As she drew nearer, she began to record the phenomenon on her cell phone. The following footage does contain strong language.
I have no idea what the hell that is. What the fuck is that? There's more. Look! Look in the sky!
The witness states that the craft flew off in a northern direction towards the nearby town of Apache Junction before finally disappearing into the Superstition Mountains. The witness called 911 immediately to report the sighting and was told that an officer had also witnessed the event. The witness states that she was later contacted by the Pinal County Sheriff's Department, who claimed that the orbs had been luminaria that had been released from a nearby celebration. While this might seem to be a reasonable and convenient explanation, this fails to explain the non-ballistic or random movements of the red orbs seen in the footage. It also fails to explain how the accompanying orange orbs were able to stay in perfect formation and move as one unit. So if these were not individual small paper bags with candles inside, what was hovering and performing acrobatics over the desert floor? We may never know for certain. Our final case takes us to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. According to the details of the report filed to the MUFON database, on June 2nd, 2017, the witness was attending a Pelicans baseball game with her husband and 2 sons. Spotting a weird fireball in the night sky, her husband began to film the strange object. Shortly after he began, the fireball was seen to split into several smaller lights, which then hover and maneuver about before finally forming a pattern and disappearing slowly over the horizon.
Industry's ushers are now coming around with recycling bags. Please recycle any bottles and or cans with which you may be finished. Thank you. All right, fans, it's time to sing on down to Hannah, who's atop the first base dugout with our contestant tonight, who'll try their hand at the Big M Casino. Hit it or hold it. Oh, Hannah!
Why, thank you, DB. I'm over here with my friend Chad. He is ready to test his luck at hit it or hold it. Let's see what he's got. Alright, you're starting with a 12. Are you going to hit it or are you going to hold it? Who's going to hit it? 15. Hit it or hold it? Who said hit? 19. Okay, hit it or hold it? He's holding right there. What you got, DB?
Alright, let's check it out. I got 4 showing.
The children can be heard commenting on the spectacle, wondering aloud what it could be that they are seeing. While some have put forth the possibility that the event was some sort of skydiving display, game officials deny hiring anyone to perform. This possibility would seem further unlikely, as it would be extremely dangerous to strap flares to oneself, skydive, and perform aerial maneuvers that seem to move against the prevailing wind patterns. For this same reason, drones or light aircraft are also unlikely to be the cause of the phenomenon, and one would hope that there are not flocks of birds bursting into flames above Myrtle Beach. While the exact nature of the object on this compelling video remains unknown, PNT must agree with the unknown spectator on the video who states, "Now that is just cool right there, man." Indeed. If you have caught a UFO or other paranormal experience on tape, submit it to PNT for investigation at the links in the description below, and your footage could be used in a future episode. Be sure to support us on Patreon and tune in Wednesdays for PNT's Paranormal News Minute. We thank you for watching and ask that you click like, share, and subscribe below. I'm your host, reminding you to keep an open mind, because a closed one shuts out the truth.